Hello, everybody. Welcome to stage 18. This is the second About the Language. This is about neuter nouns. Remember, we talked about grammatical gender in About the Language 1. And so we have masculine, feminine, and neuter. And remember, the last point that I made on that tutorial was that doesn't always, masculine, feminine, neuter grammatically doesn't always line up with what we think of as like male, female in English. What we think of is like anatomical physiological sexuality, right? So you have, for instance, like weom here. In English, I'm thinking of wea, a road. I'm thinking of that thing as like an it. I'm thinking of it as a thing. And so, I wouldn't call that a male or a female thing, right? A masculine or feminine thing. In Latin, it's not it's grammatical, so it's about the kind of word that is. So because wea, even though it means a road, ends with an a, it's a first declension noun. Well, first declension nouns 99.9% of the time are feminine. So wea is feminine. That's a feminine noun. Okay. Now we also have nouns in Latin that are neuter. Now you've seen them plenty of times, and we've even sort of mentioned that word neuter before. But this is really about explaining what's going on there. Okay. We only have a sort of two different kinds of neuter nouns. We have neuter nouns from the second declension, and we have neuter nouns from the third declension. All right. Neuter nouns from the second declension are fairly easy to spot in a dictionary because in the nominative singular, whereas our usual second declension nouns end with us, neuter nouns end in um. Now we've seen a bunch of these. We've seen auxilium, meaning help. We've seen praesidium, okay, meaning like protection. Consilium, meaning plan. Here we have the noun templum. Notice it's not templus, it's templum, and it means temple. And it is a neuter noun because it is a second declension noun that ends in in the nominative. Okay. In the third declension, we have the word that means name, like my name is, and that's nomen. And nomen is a neuter noun. Now, here's the tricky part. In the second declension, we could always kind of tell what's neuter because that In the third declension, there's a lot of variation, and so it's difficult to just sort of spot that neuter noun. Okay. Now, you really wouldn't need to know unless you were speaking and writing and trying to be really, really accurate. This is generally not a problem. It's not a problem for us who are readers and we're recognizing things, but it is worth pointing out that third declension nouns don't really kind of like scream, I am masculine or I am feminine or I am neuter. You would just need to know the dictionary definition here. Now, two big things with the neuters. All right, this is my big thesis statement for my students. This is what you need to know. And I want you to copy this down in your notes. I want you to memorize this. I'm going to ask you about it. I'm going to keep asking you about it. The two neuter rules. Okay, rule number one for neuter nouns, the nominative form is the same as the accusative form. Now look at our examples here. For masculine, we got servus, but then servum in the accusative. Here, it's templum, templum. Okay? Nominative and accusative are always the same. That might sound a little bit obvious here, but look in the third declension. For masculine or feminine nouns, it would be em in the accusative singular, right? Leo, leonem, felix, felicem, that kind of thing. In the third declension neuter, if whatever that word is, nomen here is the neuter noun. Well, that is also the accusative. It's not like nominem or something like that. It's just nomen because that's one of our rules. The nominative is the same as the accusative. The accusative is the same as the nominative. They are the same. Now look, here's the other rule. Okay, now I wonder if we can figure this out. Look at your second neuter rule. Notice servi is the plural, servos is the plural accusative, leones is the plural nominative, leones is the plural accusative. Look at the neuter noun here. Look what happened. We didn't say templi, we said templa. We didn't say templos, we said templa. So here your second neuter rule is this, everybody. The nominative and accusative, because remember they're always the same, plural, let me move this, and with a. So templa, templa. This is why in English we say data, right? Because a single bit of data is a datum actually, and we say data. All right. We have several different examples of this, but this is why we say data with an a there at the end. All right. when we look at for and our different examples, I think looking at these sentences highlights why it's important to know those two neuter rules, that the nominative and the accusative are the same, and the nominative and accusative plural end with an A. And it's important to have those in mind because we're looking at these, and boy, for 17 stages we've been trained, hey, A is like puella, A is the subject of the sentence, but here it's horea noah. So Salvius inspected the new granaries or the new barns. Look down at C. We've got principes, chieftains. We've got dona, gifts to the palace, and then like brought or carried. And again, we have to remember, oh, yeah. Donum is a neuter noun. I just know that maybe from looking at vocabulary. So dona is plural, gifts. And remember, nominative and accusative are the same. Dona, that could be nominative or accusative. And here, it's the principes verbing the accusative object dona. Same thing over here in E, right? Plancus is the guy's name. And then we got monuments of the city, and then demonstrava. Remember, Plancus was that really annoying guy, and he demonstrated, he pointed out the monuments of the city. So that plural neuter is something that we definitely have to keep in mind here when we are reading our Latin. Good luck with gender and neuter nouns, everybody. Bye-bye.